Hey everybody, it's Matt Shu from Upright Health, and today I wanted to talk with you about anterior pelvic tilt. This is a topic that we have been discussing pretty often. It's important for hip pain, it's important for back pain, it's important for even knee and foot pain. So we've been discussing it quite often in the last few months. A lot of times people ask us, well, why is anterior pelvic tilt such a big deal these days? And, I don't have access to all the information in the world over all periods of time, unfortunately, but what I can offer is my observations. One of the most striking things to me as I've been growing up over the last 30 odd years is that as I've been growing up, there has been a huge effort to educate people about what is proper spinal curvature. And that's something we talk about. That's definitely an important topic. But I think from what I've witnessed growing up, the attention about proper spinal position is always extremely narrowly focused. And also the answers that are given and the recommendations that are given in terms of spinal position are extremely black and white. There is this idea that there is a perfect spinal position that everyone should be looking to achieve, and the way that has been illustrated and presented for most people has been having a curve in your lower back. So this is not necessarily incorrect, right? You should have a curve in your lower back. You should have this lordosis. You shouldn't have a huge lordosis. And I think there was definitely a period of time where slouching was the biggest problem. It is still a problem. And what I mean by that is, the typical kind of sitting at your computer slouching like this. This is obviously not really a comfortable position to be in for very long. This can be potentially pretty bad for your lower back. It can predispose you to disc injury, especially if you then go and lift something heavy. And so a lot of the recommendations around spinal health, around your back health, has been focused on keeping your lower back in lordosis. I've even seen recommendations that you should try to go into a super big lordosis. I actually tried this once for a period of about, I would say, 2 months. There's a person who puts themselves out there as a kind of a posture guru, and recommends that you should have a really strong lower back curvature. So I was trying this when I was dealing with all my hip and back and knee and foot pain stuff. I was willing to try anything. And I actually noticed that it made things worse in my hips for reasons I understand now. But it made my hips just feel much worse. I lost range of motion. I felt muscles kind of clicking and snapping and popping across each other. And it was basically because in order to achieve this lower back curvature, I was doing all kinds of things with my pelvis, right? By out of necessity, you need to dump your pelvis into anterior pelvic tilt to get that lordosis. Similarly, for people who are sitting in chairs all the time and working at the office, there's been this huge push over time to get lumbar supports, right? So they hit you in the lumbar spine and they push you into this position. This is actually also adding quite a bit of compressive force to the discs in your lower back. It shortens up your hip flexors. It makes it much easier for you to get stuck in anterior pelvic tilt. So while people have been working really hard to try to avoid that kyphotic slouch while sitting at the desk, now it looks like we've kind of evened the sides here, and now we're kind of putting people too far into this direction, as if that, kind of with the hope that that is going to solve everybody's problem. The reality is that there's not like a perfect position that your body can stay in all the time, right? The goal for, I think, pretty much every human being should be to be able to move in different directions in a safe, stable, functional way. That is not something that's really developed when you, say, sit at a computer for 10 to 14 hours a day, or you sit at a computer for 8 hours a day and sit in front of a TV screen for another 4 hours. The ability to move well gets lost when you're not moving. And if you are moving and you're just not moving well, you're using bad habits, you're also reinforcing things that are going to make you feel bad. So while I think it's been well-intentioned for people to try to fix their sitting posture, we have videos talking about that as well. It's really important to remember that it's not like you stick yourself into one position and you're straight, and this is going to guarantee that you're comfortable for the rest of your life. It's just not the case. You do need to keep moving. You do need to find dynamic balance. Sometimes you're a little bit forward, sometimes you're a little back, sometimes you get up, sometimes you take a break, go have some water, get away from your screen. Those are all kind of simple things to say. They're simple things to try to implement, but I know from experience that's very difficult once you're in the heat of the moment. That doesn't mean that they're not important though. These things can be difficult, but you got to do them so that your body remains healthy and able to move the way it's supposed to. So rather than obsess about, perfect position while you're sitting at the desk for 10 hours, it's probably a better idea to think about perfect position while you're moving. How do you maintain good position while you're doing a deadlift? How do you maintain good position while you're playing soccer or going out and playing baseball or doing yoga? How do you maintain good mechanics, balanced mechanics for your body and for your body's tendencies? There are definitely some people who tend to end up in this position. Those people need to think about their bodies in a way that's different than those of us who end up in this position more easily. So I really encourage you to think about yourself as an individual with variations that matter, and then address those variations by carefully thinking about what you need and carefully selecting exercises to address what you need. So I hope that provides a little bit of insight into this whole anterior pelvic tilt mystery, and I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.